Hey everyone, today we are going to be taking a look at the fish room. It's kind of messy right now, and this week, for me, it's not going to be so fun. It's going to be a little bit boring because there's a lot of maintenance, a lot of cleaning that I have to do. So we're going to head over to the fish room right now, and I'll show you guys what's going on. And if you guys just saw, that's my uncle. He's working on his Volkswagen today. We'll take a quick look at his car today. So he's got two cars. He loves his old cars. Like he hates new cars, and if we talk electric, he's gonna like he gets angry. He gets angry if we talk about electric cars and newer cars. So this is his Volkswagen 1974 Beetle in orange color. I think he's the second owner of it, and he's had it for many years, over 30 years. And then this is his Honda Beat that he recently just got. He had two Beetles in the past, but this is his new car that he plays with. It's a Honda Beat, as I just mentioned, but yeah, it's a faster car, and he just likes to zip around with that. Not too bad looking for an old car. 1974. It's in pretty good condition. The engine is also really good. Around 140,000 kilometers on it, so yeah. But enough with the cars today. Maybe we can talk more about the cars. I do talk about the cars sometimes for the members, but today we're going to do some tank cleaning. Alright, so before we work on a tank today, there's a lot of tanks I have to work on, and I want to kind of make this room presentable in the next few weeks, because a lot of you have been asking for a fish room tour. I want to do a fish room tour, but I'm kind of hesitant to do it because this room is not looking that good. Well, mostly the tanks are not looking that good, and the room of course, but it is starting to clear up. Like this section over here, I've cleared it up a lot. Well, my uncle has, and I've helped out a little bit over there as well. This wall I've mentioned in the past, I want to make it like a tool wall. Have all your tools for like drills, screwdrivers, saws, like that. I want to make this a nice wall where I organize all our tools. Over here, you can see that I've put newspaper on the floor. That's because we've got some kind of like oil seeping out of the floor, and I'm trying to fix that issue. I think it was back from when my grandfather used to use this room. He used to work in this area, and it was his job. He would clean and maintain heavy machinery, and he'd always like use oils and stuff like that, and he'd probably like spill it all over the place. That's why the floor is kind of dirty. So in the future, I do want to paint the floors, but right now this is how the fish room looks. It's kind of changing. I'm working every day, little by little, fixing up the small things, and yeah, slowly we're going to make this place look much better. But this is one of the tanks I need to work on. I'm not going to do this one today, but maybe tomorrow or the day after. I want to add fish in here, and you can see it's like green water right now. That's kind of crazy. I think the light is too strong. This is the 𝗲𝗾𝘀𝗀𝘀𝘀𝗀 WRGB Pro. It is on a very low setting, but as you can see, it's still producing a lot of algae. I just don't have the balance right in this tank. The CO2 I've been struggling with, even though it's set on a timer, I think like this tubing is so long all the way down to the bottom that every day the amount of CO2 that comes out is different, and some days like no CO2 comes out even though the tank is full. So I've got to fix this up. We're going to make this whole system better, this whole rack system here. We're going to have 4 of these 3-foot tanks, and then I've also got to work on this tank right here. I've got a pair of angelfish. They're currently hiding, but a few weeks ago, those guys laid eggs and they had babies. The eggs were onto the wiggler stage. They were just about to hatch, but then they ate all the eggs, so kind of unfortunate there, but they're still new parents. That was their first batch, and on their first batch of eggs going to the wiggler stage, I think that's pretty good, so I'm gonna leave them alone for now. Maybe move them out into another tank. I'll talk more about that in the future in that video where we work on this tank, but you can also see blue-green algae, cyanobacteria all over the place. So yeah, balance is not good. Not good with some of my tanks right now. And the tank that we're going to be working on today is this one right here. This is the 4-footer rainbow fish tank that is heavily planted, but I'm struggling a little bit. I want to know what you guys think, what you would do if you had a tank that's struggling like this, or if you're currently dealing with something like this, let me know in the comments down below. You can see from a distance, it doesn't look too bad. It looks like a nice planted tank. But when you take a close-up look, you'll see that there's hair algae growing all over the place, and it's kind of bad. And this only happened recently, like 2 weeks ago. The tank was perfectly fine, and then suddenly out of nowhere it just started growing algae. And I think one of the main reasons is that it's getting warmer. The temperature is getting warmer. I don't have a heater in this tank, but it's naturally getting warmer. The sunlight that's coming in is also hitting this tank and keeping this tank warmer than it was before. During the winter, I mean, this thing has been here the whole time. The sunlight, I know, is not a cause. I've received many comments saying that the sunlight is terrible for the tank. I shouldn't have all these windows around the tank, but it's totally normal to have a beautiful tank in the direct sunlight. It's possible to make your tank beautiful, and it's just about the balance. You can have a tank even if you have windows all over the place. I've got windows all over this fish room, and yeah, my tanks are all okay. Well, not right now, but they have been okay in the past, and they will be. Another thing I can come up with is the nutrient balance in this tank. First of all, the plants have been growing a lot, especially this 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗲𝘀𝗀, you can just see it looks amazing. And the CO2, I've reduced. I wanted to play around with the CO2, try to reduce it, see how the plants would do, and I guess this is what happened. Algae just took over. You can see my 𝗲𝘾𝗀𝘀𝗀𝘀 in the back have black spots. That's definitely a nutrient deficiency, so yeah. We're going to work on this tank today. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take out as much of this hair algae as possible and do a water change. Alright, I tried my best, but it's pretty tough to remove hair algae when you've got it attached onto every single plant in your tank. It's pretty challenging, I must say, but I did do my best. I tried to take out as much of it as possible. You can see it doesn't look like much, but there is a lot of hair algae in here, and it's pretty hard removing. I did use a toothbrush. There is a better tool that you can DIY. Maybe I'll do a video on that in the future, but you just spin that tool around and it'll catch out all the hair algae. So yeah, that's something I should probably do next time. But right now, if you take a close look, you can still see there's a lot of hair algae all over the place. That's all going to have to go away on its own. We're going to have to do something about this tank and try to balance it all out to kill that hair algae. But for now, I'm just going to clean the glass a little bit, get all the algae off, and we'll do a little water change. So I took out maybe 20-25% of the water, maybe 30, I'm not sure. But I'm currently filling the tank up, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to change this diffuser out, because this CO2 diffuser, these rainbow fish are crazy. I think they're hungry. But this CO2 diffuser is just terrible. You can see I've bumped up the CO2 right now, but the bubbles are so big and they go straight up to the surface, so we're definitely going to be changing this out. So this here is the CO2 diffuser I'll be swapping it out with, and this one is made by Twinstar. It's really great. It's one of my favorite diffusers, and the reason is because the bubbles that come out are so fine, so tiny little bubbles. It's really amazing. And if you have some flow coming from the opposite direction and it's hitting the bubbles of the CO2, the bubbles stay really, really low, and it works quite well. This here is the exact same CO2 diffuser that's in my contest tank for 2022, and you can see like almost none of the bubbles reach the surface, so yeah, it's kind of amazing when you have it working properly. So here you can see the bubbles are much finer. They're like micro bubbles, but they do still go all the way up to the top of the tank, and the reason for that is just mainly because of where I have my filter outflow pipe located. On this tank, I've got it set at the back of the tank, and that's just so that it blends in with the black background. But usually if I were to do an aquascape tank where I have hardscape and try to make it all beautiful and stuff, I'd have the filter pipes located on the side front of the tank, the front side of the tank, and it would be pushing out that direction, and it'll help the CO2 disperse evenly throughout the tank. This one, I've got it pointed out that direction, so it does help a little bit, but not as much as if you were to have your filter pipes located on the side. But still, it's better. It's definitely better than the previous CO2 diffuser. Now the tank looks a lot brighter. You can see the sides are so much cleaner now because we scraped the tank. Well, we swiped it down with a sponge. But yeah, it's just looking a lot better. There is some stuff I need to work on. The plants in this tank, I've got to rearrange a little bit. There's still a lot of them in these little pots, and I know some of you are going to get angry at me asking why I still haven't planted them, and that's just because I don't want to plant them in this tank. This is currently just the temporary holding tank for it at the moment. Soon in the future, I'm going to be setting more tanks up, and I want to use those plants for those tanks. So I'm currently just storing them in here. If I plant them in now, and I want to take them out in the future, it's going to mess the gravel, and I've also got a layer in here of base fertilizing substrate, so I don't want that to get pulled out and mixed into the water column. So that's just the reason why I'm not planting all these plants in. So I hope you understand, but I will definitely try to make it look neat today, and soon this tank is going to look better yeah. You just please be patient with me. Oh, and before you all scold me in the comment section below, because of how all my tanks are so dirty, there's a reason. And that reason is because I've just been focused on the IAPLC contest aquarium. I've just been so focused on it this year, and I really want to get a good ranking. Last year, my goal for the contest, it was to rank in the top 300, and I ended up ranking 59, which is kind of insane. I never expected to get that high of a ranking, and yeah, and this year I just want to do the same. I want to get at least maybe in the top 100. At least maybe better than last year. So I'm really focusing this year on the contest, and the tank is looking pretty good right now. I've only got 30 days left until the deadline. My tank is still not completed. There is still a little bit of growing that needs to be done for these plants, so it is going to take a few more days. It's going to be very, very close to the deadline. The picture I'll be taking of the tank will probably be like 5 days before the deadline, so it's a very close call this time. But it is also kind of a risky aquascape, this one. Like, I don't know if the impact is there. It might rank, it might not even be a good ranking, so I don't know. The only thing you can do is just have fun and don't worry too much. So yeah, let's not worry. Take a look at how good this 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗲𝘀𝘀 looks. This is just a regular 𝗲𝘂𝘀𝗀𝑛𝑎na, and it's been sitting in this tank for the last few months, and it's grown amazingly. Look at those roots and the amount of flowers that have come out of this plant. It's just pretty incredible. But I don't want to leave it in this tank anymore because it just takes up too much space. Same with the Java ferns in the back over there. Those will eventually come out, but yeah, I've got to find new places for these plants. So I guess the tank is looking better than it started. If it doesn't, then there's a problem there. But let me put a before picture, and let's see. Yeah, I think it does look better this way. Let me know in the comments below. Do you like this look, or was it better before? I think before was nasty because there's just too much algae. There still is quite a bit of algae in here, but it's far less noticeable, and it's gonna clear up. This algae, we're definitely going to beat it. We've added more CO2. This will help the plants out a lot. And I think I'm going to also start maybe adding fertilizers. I think one of the reasons why the algae was just taking off is because there wasn't enough nutrients for the plants, and I was putting so much light. I've got these two bright LED lights, so too much light with not enough nutrients. The plants aren't going to be happy, and the algae just took off. So I'm going to try to balance things out, and things should go better from here. So yeah, but as you can see, the rainbow fish, they are all so active. Like, these rainbow fish, they don't look so active, but I promise you, when you put food in there, they're gonna go crazy. Like, these rainbow fish are food driven. They're motivated by food. So let's put a pinch a big pinch actually, if I can open this lid up. Sprinkle some in. And check that out. Yeah, these rainbow fish are so cool, and we're going to add a lot more fish into this tank. Yeah, let me know what fish you'd add into this tank. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.